Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second call for organizers today. We are excited that all of you can join us for this and to learn about Food Day for the first time or to get inspired for your second or third Food Day. And we're going to hear from several of our organizers around the country, as well as our campaign manager here at Food Day, to get you updated on what's been happening and how you can take the next step. So just quickly, for those of you who haven't used this platform before, we're using GoToWebinar. And if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, please go ahead and type them into that dashboard you'll see on your screen. And we'll address them at the end of the call after the few presentations that we're going to have. This session is going to be recorded, and we'll send a link as well as the slides to all call registrants. And if you have any questions for us, general questions about Food Day, please contact us at foodday@cspinet.org. My name is Catherine Cassom, and I'm a Food Day project coordinator with the campaign. And I'm going to turn it over in a minute to Lilia Smelkova, who's our campaign manager, to give you a few national updates about what's been happening around the country and with the campaign. And then we're going to go to Rosa Ruda, who's our Massachusetts Food Day statewide coordinator, Nancy Hunegarth, who's our New York State Food Day coordinator, and Tanitra Swicks, who's our Mississippi State Food Day coordinator. And then we'll turn it over to you for some questions and discussion. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Lilia to give us some campaign updates.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining this call. We are excited to have you here, and we have some interesting developments on the national level that I wanted to share with you. And the first is we are working on a food literacy rubric together with Nourish Life, with a nonprofit base from California in San Francisco that is called WorldLink. They have been working on tools for educators for many years, and so we have partnered with them to work on the food literacy rubric that will help us to define a baseline for food education, and food education as a way to reduce obesity and diet-related diseases, especially for children in schools, is one of the main themes of this year's Food Day. So we're asking you to help us define food literacy. There is a page with categories on foodday.org, and you can access it through the home page. One of the slides is here up on the screen. And please leave your comments. The categories are the list of all their categories that we have thought characterize a food literate person. The rubric will develop in a calculator or a quiz that will rate the literacy level from beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and then suggest further reading or further resources, and will become a baseline for educators to assess the level of food literacy in food education classes for kids and also for interested adults. So go to foodday.org, look up the slide on food literacy, and please leave your comments on the categories. It's an open comment process for a month that will be over in mid-August. The second exciting campaign I wanted to talk briefly about is Get Food Education in Every School. It's a joint campaign that Food Day launched on May 17th this year with Jamie Oliver's Food Foundation. And so far, almost 5,000 people and 60 organizations have signed on this campaign to support the concept that every school should have the access to food education sooner or later. So we have started the conversation with the groups that have signed on the campaign. And again, you can access this description from foodday.org Take Action button on the right of the homepage, and see who have joined, sign on the campaign to receive updates, and also consider your organization becoming one of their supporters of this campaign. And together we will decide about what next steps will be after this year's Food Day on the state level. And we have some exciting developments, talking with several state education departments around the country that are interested to partner with us and with Jimmy Oliver Food Foundation on that. The next slide is about the resources on foodday.org. This is the new poster. It's a silhouette of a kid stretching out their arms towards fruits and vegetables. And it should be up on our website today. We also have new recipe cards with healthy recipes on the back. We have translated Food Day brochure into Spanish. It's available up online. We also have a national map of Food Day events with more than 130 events already registered. Please register yours and stay tuned for the information about receiving the materials for your October 24th event. Something that I'm really excited about is a collaboration that Food Day has with Chop Chop magazine. Chop Chop magazine is a cooking magazine for kids and families, and they're based from Boston. They collaborate with Harvard School of Public Health, and they distribute in a little more than 500,000 copies, mostly through pediatrician offices, but also through school districts directly. And so Food Day has partnered with Chop Chop to produce these 4 pages. Here you see 2 of them about nutrition guidelines for kids. So these are 4 pages about how to read the nutrition label, how to think about food marketing. There is a smoothie recipe and some ideas to think about health and nutrition. This will be available also as a PDF on our website and also as a printed resource for Food Day events. And this is one of the examples of a nice event that started in New York City in 2012, Big Apple Crunch. And the mayor's office is collaborating with us and with Grow and Noisy, the organization, working with many farmers markets and gardens around the city to have 1 million New Yorkers crunching into an apple at noon on October 24th. Last year, Big Apple Crunch had more than 400,000 people participating, so we are confident we can reach that goal. And the New York example of the Apple Crunch generated a lot of interest around the country. So we know there will be a Rochester Apple Crunch in New York State, and several other entire states are planning their state crunch, using the apple as a simple way to do something on Food Day and also connecting it with broader messaging, like eating local, seasonal, or eating more fruits and vegetables. So this is one of the ideas how Food Day can be a fun event and very low entry barrier for someone to participate as crunching an apple. And I think these are the main updates on the national level. I will be on the call, and I would be happy to answer your questions if you have them. And I'm turning over to you, Catherine, for the rest of their presentations by our great panelists.
Great, thank you, Lilia. And we will go ahead and turn it over to Rose now, who's in Massachusetts, in transit, but has agreed to join us to give us some updates about some of the exciting work that's happening in her state. So go ahead, Rose.
Okay, thank you, Catherine and Lilia. This is the 3rd year that Massachusetts has been involved in Food Day. We are very excited. I work at the Department of Agricultural Resources, and this has been a fantastic vehicle to really promote what's important to us, and that is supporting our farmers and producers. So this has, been a terrific campaign that we use to connect consumers, residents, constituents, whoever you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, with our local producers. So it's been a great hit for us. So we started this 3rd campaign really doing outreach in April and May. We started our statewide meetings in May, and what that consisted of was going back to some key cities and starting in new towns identifying our anchor organizations that were involved. Could be a nonprofit, a YMCA, a WIC office, and just really center that meeting around those folks and doing outreach and getting folks to the table and telling them about Food Day and getting them excited about doing an activity or an event that's really going to highlight the work that's important to them, that's going to be a piece of the puzzle of improving our food system as a whole across the state. So now we are in, oh my God, it's almost August. So for the past 2 months, we've done a couple dozen meetings across the state. And Monday, we will have a statewide call webinar. And we find that is a really great method to get people focused. And on that phone call, we'll give people an update. We will get them up to speed on the different elements of the campaign and make it friendly for those who are new and those who've done it before. And so we'll do that. And from August, September, October, we plan on having twice a month phone calls / webinars. And I also issue out a sort of newsletter email with updates and reminders and tips and highlights of what key folks are doing around the state, whether it's an individual planning an event in their backyard or a state agency. We try to highlight different folks at different levels and different sectors to really show people that they can do it too, and or give them ideas about how to really incorporate what they already do and whatever organization they're connected to Food Day. So, so those are the things that will be happening in the upcoming months. I don't want to get too much into the weeds about what we're doing, but I can tell you that we're really excited that our Department of Education is getting involved, getting our over 200 schools involved again, like we had last year. Our Department of Public Health is getting involved. Our Department of Travel and Tourism is getting involved. We have, like I said, small offices that serve different constituencies, whether it comes to nutrition, health care, physical well-being, and they are finding partnerships with other folks in their communities. So, you know, we have all sorts of partnerships and relationships that are building, and they're working. They're working because they're keeping it simple, and they're keeping their activity meaningful and sustainable, meaning that it's just not about October 24th. It's about December 24th and January 24th. You know, and then with that in mind, keeping it simple and meaningful, they'll be coming back to do it again the next year, which is what we're seeing a lot of repeat action. So, you know, that said, any of the nitty-gritty we can save for the end of the call, but we have a lot of great movement happening here in Massachusetts, and we're really excited to be part of Food Day, because we are just seeing lots of excited folks because they're seeing impacts of what they're doing, so that's why they come back. So looking forward to hearing about what else is going on around the country.
Great. Thank you, Rose. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, we'll take questions for Rose at the end after the next two presentations in about 15 minutes. So be thinking, if you have any questions for Rose, she does have a wealth of experience there, and gave some good examples of different levels of state organization that you can be thinking about as you're organizing, state level all the way down to local organizations. So I think at this point we'll turn it over to Nancy Unigarth, who is our Food Day coordinator in New York State, to give us some updates as well.
Hi, this is Nancy Unigarth, and I started about 3 years ago as the New York State Food Day coordinator, and we've been very fortunate to get many events planned and very successful events over the last few years, and I'm sure we'll be as successful this year. Also this year I was asked by CSPI to do some national outreach as well, and that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit right now. And if anybody has any questions about New York, I'll certainly take your questions during the Q&A period. So the most outreach that I've been doing on the national level has been to African American and Hispanic community organizations because we felt we had not made enough inroads into those communities with regard to Food Day. And I've probably reached out over the last few months repeatedly to about 70 to 80 major groups, major national groups that represent both of those communities, and gotten some nice responses from some of the organizations. For example, I'm happy to report that we have some new National Food Day partners, the Association of Black Cardiologists, the National Black Child Development Institute, and we have a new Food Day state partner, the Latino Farmers Cooperative of Louisiana. And I'm still hopeful that we'll get some other Hispanic and African American organizations to sign on, but very happy to welcome those folks to the Food Day fold. Our goal this year in reaching out to these groups is, of course, to get more events and involve the Latino and Black communities in more events around the United States and spread the word, promote Food Day among those groups. I'm happy to report that our friends at the Association of Black Cardiologists are going to be doing some promotion through their mailing lists and their network, and they may even reach out to some partners that they do work with on TV. And I don't want to talk about that much more right now because that hasn't been finalized, but I'll keep you all posted if that comes around. And just so you know, the Black Cardiologists, it's the Association of Black Cardiologists, has this amazing video called Before You Eat the Church Food. And it's something they put together, and they have been doing outreach to the faith community about the types of food that are served in church settings because in the Black community they found that food can be quite damaging. So you all are welcome to take a look at that on the Association of Black Cardiologists website, and if you want to use that that video for one of your events, I believe you need to contact the Association of Black Cardiologists, but no doubt they will let you use that video. Some other outreach that we've been doing where we've had some success is we had wonderful meetings and outreach with the NAACP, and I learned that the NAACP has a wonderful childhood obesity program already underway. They actually have some senior staff running it, and we're in talks with them to do some more promotion of Food Day around the country. Another group we're working with is the Hispanic Institute. This year they put out a bit of a controversial paper about how the soda industry has been giving grants and money to many Hispanic groups, and it was a very thoughtful paper, kind of put them on the map in food reform, and they're planning to work with us with promotion and a possible event. Other groups we're continuing to talk to are the National Hispanic Leadership Agenda and the National Hispanic Caucus of State Legislators. So there are more groups, and I could keep listing them, but I'm just going to tell you about the ones that I know are really moving forward and helping us promote Food Day. One other thing that you should know about is that we now have a Food Day brochure in Spanish. So if you are working with the Spanish constituency, go into our resources, you will find that brochure, and that should be very helpful to you. And one final request, if any of you have any contacts at any national Hispanic or African American organizations that you want to share with us, just send them in to Catherine and she'll get them to me. you know, the more people that I know and the more personal contact I can make, the more successful I will be at bringing all these groups into the fold and helping us with Food Day 2013. So thank you all.
Thank you, Nancy. And for those of you who might have contacts, you can send them to ccastleman@cspinet.org or to foodday@cspinet.org. And that address is on your screen now. So thanks, Nancy. Those are some exciting updates. And again, you can find the Spanish brochure and other resources at foodday.org/resources. All right. Well, we will now go over to Tanitra Wicks, who is our Food Day coordinator for the state of Mississippi. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what they've done in previous years and give us some updates on 2013.
Hello, thank you for that, Catherine. I am Tanitra Wicks. I'm from the Mississippi State Department of Health, and this is my second year with Food Day, and I have some updates to bring you about what we have going on in Mississippi. We're really excited about the movement and the momentum that we've built up this year. A few updates. We have a wonderful partner for the Foundation for the Mid-South, and I don't think that they were able to join the call today, but they have been a great support, and we are really excited to work with them, and they're a great partner for us. The way we're going to do, we've kind of structured Food Day events is that we're going to have 3 big conferences events, one in North Mississippi, Central Mississippi, and Southern Mississippi. And then we'll have local events in each district. Our state is divided up into 9 public health districts, and we have health educators in each district. They're going to help us kind of lead the charge and lead the Food Day movement in their specific districts. Another thing I'm going to do is show you some pictures of the 2012 events of some of the things that we did last year and we want to do again this year to help give you all some ideas of some things you might want to do in your state. In North Mississippi, we've been working with the University of Mississippi, that's Ole Miss, in Oxford to do a conference. And we want to do it the week before Food Day, and we haven't exactly pinpointed the days or the length of the event, but we know it will be held between October 13th and October 19th. We're going to have Mayor Chip Johnson of Hernando, Mississippi. Mayor Chip Johnson is a very progressive mayor, and he's been doing a lot of things around health, having a healthy city, and he's received accolades from the White House and various other national organizations. So we're going to have him. He's agreed to be the keynote speaker for the event. We plan on having a festival and a farmer's market on the Student Plaza, outdoor movie, we're thinking Soul Food Junkie, and a meet and greet with the farmers and the local restaurateurs and chefs. We also want to do a speaker series. It'll be 3 20-minute mini lectures on economic, health, and environmental issues that impact food. We've identified speakers on health and the economy aspect, but right now we're working on somebody to talk about environmental issues and as it relates to food. If you know of anyone, please let us know. You can email myself or Catherine and let us know as well. And we're thinking about also doing a debate. We definitely will do the speaker series, but right now we're kind of just talking about doing a debate. In Central Mississippi, here in Jackson, we're talking with Jackson State University about doing a kind of a 2-day event. We want to do on October 25th and October 26th. The reason why we're not doing a lot of things around on October 24th is because we're encouraging everybody to do something locally on that day. So, and everybody wants to attend the different conferences and different events, so we're trying to go around the 24th and kind of celebrate Food Day the entire month. So on October 25th, we want to do a 1-day farm-to-school conference. We've been speaking with Mississippi Food Policy Council about collaborating with them for them to host the to actually put on the conference, and we just provide the space and support and resources that they need. But it's pending their board approval. Their board will meet sometimes this month to tell us yay or nay. Well, they'll meet in August. Then on October 26th, we want to have a festival and a pop-up farmers market on the campus at Jackson State University. And they also want to do an ultimate challenge. Ultimate challenge is more geared around physical activity, but they want to incorporate food. And they've talked about either carrying sweet potatoes, a certain like 5-pound sweet potatoes, part of the actual ultimate challenge kind of. It's like a maze or what do you call it, a relay or something. So they were thinking about maybe carrying 5-pound sweet potatoes or 10-pound sweet potatoes part of the way, or doing something with mashed sweet potatoes. We're trying to incorporate some kind of locally grown food, but we haven't quite wrapped our brain around exactly how we want to do it. And we're also going to do some cooking demonstrations and a tasting highlighting locally grown food. In southern Mississippi, we're working with Holy Family Parish to do a seafood festival in Pass Christian. They normally have the festival October 4th through 6th, so we think that this will be the day. And on the coast, we want to really just highlight the locally grown plush seafood that we have down in that area. So those are our 3 big events that we're going to have throughout the state, and we're going to encourage everybody to kind of support and pool resources to those events and support them throughout the month. But also on a local level, we're doing things in each public health district. This is a map of how Mississippi is divided up in the public health district, and like I said, each district has a health educator that's the lead in that area to help promote events. They're kind of our feet on the ground for central office. So when you can't get to me, you know, you can contact them, and they can come to you more readily than I can from central Mississippi because I may not be as close. So this is the District Food Day update. We want to do something during Farmer School Week. Farmer School Week is the first week in October, so we've been speaking with the Department of Ed to encourage local school cafeterias to use locally grown produce in their dishes during that week. We want them to at least do one day, but if someone can do the entire week, we are really trying to promote that. But right now we're just saying if you can do one day, you can highlight an item, a locally grown item, for the students during that week. We would really appreciate it. We're also working with our Mississippi State Fair. Our state fair occurs in October, and we want to highlight those vendors that use locally grown items. So we're trying to work with our Department of Communications to develop a sign so we can designate those vendors that use locally grown produce and kind of give them some another marketing tools and highlight them on our website and do different things of that nature. We're working with the commission that plans the state fair at this time to do that. Restaurant week / month. Well, last year we did a restaurant week, and I have some pictures of that later on in the slide. This year we want to do Restaurant Month. What Restaurant Month will be is during the month of October, we're going to highlight local restaurants that use locally grown produce, and we encourage them to use to highlight it in a healthy dish because we're from the health department. We want them to be healthy. So we promote this restaurant, and we promote whatever dish and item that they include the locally grown fresh produce in. So we also want to work with the work sites. I am the state worksite wellness coordinator. I serve as the state worksite wellness coordinator. So I've been working with our, we have champions in every state agency that support health and wellness at their agency. And what we're working with them to do is to kind of plan an event around Food Day. So we want everybody to do something on October 24th to really promote Food Day, whether it be a Healthy Graze Day where they use locally grown items, a healthy potluck, whether they go to support one of the restaurants that we've highlighted in the Restaurant Month, or different things of that nature. So we're thinking about doing kind of a competition between the state agencies and give them some kind of reward for whichever committee comes up with the best idea. Football. We love our football, and October occurs during football season, so we're encouraging many of the schools to do a healthy tailgate. At this time, we're talking with Mississippi State in order to do a Idaho potato versus sweet potato, because they are playing Idaho during on the 25th, no, on the 26th. They're playing Idaho, so we've been talking with Mississippi State to see if we could do maybe a sweet potato matchup during the tailgating time where people come out and we have a cooking competition. Who can make the best whatever item with sweet potatoes or Idaho potatoes, and whatever school makes the best item, they win. Okay. So going backwards. So these are some of the things that we did last year, and we're planning to do again this year. Healthy tailgating, we did something at USM last year. They did a food day / healthy hometown event during their homecoming. And what they did, they had a pop-up farmers market, and they also had cooking demonstrations. On the left, you can see an example of the cooking demonstration, and on the right, you see a little kid who has the eye of the tiger. She is doing a karate demonstration. One way to help get people promote your event and help get families and people out is to have something that involves the kids, something that the kids can do, and it will help draw an audience. The tentative date for this year is October 19th to do the same event at USM. But actually what they want to do this year is not do it around homecoming because they feel it can be a standalone event and they can really pull people. So they're not going to do it around homecoming, so it won't be called, probably will not be called a healthy tailgate, and maybe it will. So we're planning that with the mayor's office, Mayor Dupree, in Hattiesburg. Last year we had several harvest festivals, and that's a great way to do a food day event. Many people during October, they have their harvest festivals. So we worked with some farmers markets to help pool our resources and do a big harvest festival, a food day harvest festival. This is pictures of the one that was held here in Jackson. One of the things we did to pull people is to have kid-friendly events. At this harvest festival, we did a bike rodeo. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any pictures of that, but we also had the kids to plant a bean and watch it grow. You see a picture of a kid painting his pot that he's going to put his bean in, and then we had someone to come and educate them on how to grow their own fresh fruits and vegetables, how to grow the bean, how to take care of it, and they painted the pot, and they were able to take something home. Then we also educated the kids on how to properly eat and gave portion plates away. We had cooking demonstrations. This person here, and I'm probably going to say his name wrong, is Josh. Josh came in second for Master Chef, and he came out. If you look at the picture of the left, he went around. We had the people that were doing the cooking demonstrations, the chefs, we gave them the opportunity to go around and talk to the farmers, and they were able to pick out their own produce. The farmers were really sweet. They allowed them to pick out as much produce as they needed, actually. And in return, we advertised where the produce came from. So people were able to taste the different items that the farmers had at their stations. They tasted them at the cooking demonstration, and many people went back and they bought it. They may have, tasted greens or something, and they liked it, so they went back and they bought it from the farmers. So they helped them with marketing. And at the bottom, that's just Josh giving a cooking demonstration. We had Common Health Action. They were a great partner last year, and they've contacted me again this year about partnering with us as well. We had another cooking demonstration. Another chef came out. The chefs, now, everything with the cooking demonstrations, it was free. The chefs were really excited to come out and get behind this event. And then, of course, you had the farmers who donated the fresh produce. Now, this chef did a stone soup. He walked around, and whatever the farmers gave him, he made a soup out of it. And it actually turned out very well. I tried this at home. It didn't work. It didn't quite work out. But he went ahead and he mixed different things. There's cabbage, there's carrots, and it was a delicious soup. So, and this is another restaurant that on an everyday basis they highlight locally grown fresh produce, and so what they did is they brought their own. They work with farmers, and the farmers donated some fresh fruit, and here at the bottom are some people that are enjoying the food. So one of the things that we did was we had at the farmers market, we had a food tasting. There was a farmer who donated his goat milk ice cream, and we have a kid at the bottom who did not want to eat the goat milk until I talked with him, but he actually enjoyed it. So that's a picture of him enjoying his goat milk ice cream. We had a restaurant week, and this is a picture of the restaurant week. We kind of took over restaurants, and they enjoyed having us there because it brought more attention to their restaurant. Many of them didn't, some of the restaurants actually didn't have locally grown item and produce on their menu. So the picture at the bottom is my plate. I really enjoyed probably was catfish because we grow catfish here in Mississippi. We raise catfish here in Mississippi, and during that week, I ate every type of catfish, baked, broiled, fried. So it was probably catfish, and of course I enjoyed it, as you can see by the picture. One of the things we did was we had our food trucks come out. We only have one food truck. Before 2012, it was against the law to have a food truck here in Jackson. So one of the things that many people in the food industry advocated for is to have food trucks. So the legislation was passed and so policy was passed and food trucks are allowed to be here in Jackson. So this is the only food truck that we do have. So I spoke with the owner, and what he did is he included locally grown items in his menu, and we invited him out to the festival. He was really excited about the concept of Food Day. He wants to participate again, and he said after last year, he tries to incorporate locally grown items and at least look at local farmers and local produce before he orders from other places. And these are just some pictures of some snapshots of things that happened during Food Day last year. And we have a call for Mississippi Food Day organizers on August 15th. It will be a webinar and an in-person meeting. If you are here in Jackson and you would like to come join us, the meeting will be held from 1 to 2 p.m. here in Central Office in Conference Room 203. But we will also have a webinar. You can contact myself or Catherine if you want to join the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Demetrius. And I just wanted to mention, too, that Rose had told us before the call that there will also be a statewide call for Massachusetts on Monday. So we can send that information out in the follow-up email for anybody who's located in Massachusetts so that you can also join that call. And at this point, we'll sort of turn it over to the audience for some questions and discussion. And we're really looking forward to hearing from you about what you're planning, any roadblocks that you've come up against, or questions or comments you have for the panelists you just heard from. And sort of while people are thinking, I'll start us off with a question for Rose and really for all of you, since you've all had this experience. But Rose, since you've led a number of statewide calls and meetings, do you have any tips or advice for people who are putting together an agenda for the meetings? How do you sort of keep people engaged, make sure that everybody's represented, and do you have any tips or advice on putting together those meetings?
Yeah. So specifically for the phone call, I use that as a tool to kind of rein them all in. I tell people all the time, affectionately, that's like herding cats with all the different groups all around the state, because the bottom line is we are tapping people who are already busy, are dealing with tight budgets and tight staffing, and they're preoccupied. So they want to be involved, and when you have hundreds of them like this, you want to give them a focal point, and it's not adding to their plate. And so I discovered that doing this phone call, like once or twice a month, helps get them focused. So on this phone call, I keep in mind that it's folks who are new to the game and who have been doing this, and so you want to keep it the agenda, something that's going to be of interest to everyone. So at this stage of the game, 3 months out, we want to make sure that people are, we kind of give an overview, and we have, I'll just, put out there a time frame that we think that they should use, because everyone every time I go to a meeting or, a planning session, folks want me to give them a timeline, whereas I need them to create their own timeline. So you present a timeline, what you think is reasonable to help them plan, and they can adjust it accordingly for themselves. So the next thing I do is, the week leading up to it, I'll identify folks at different levels, some with budgets, and then I'll identify folks who are like, the offices that we've heard of on the call from the other states, like a WIC office, the Department of Public Health, fitness office. Then we'll have a local nonprofit, and then we'll have the individual. So I'll identify 5 people that will give an update about what they're doing or what they're thinking about, and make sure that they're available for questions like, how did you do that, or where did you find X, Y, and Z? So, so we can, we have those, I consider that a resource for the people who are on the call. And then I will ask a couple people that aren't identified on the agenda to be ready to chime in with a question, or to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our first year, and we're planning X, Y, and Z. Just to show the new people that this can be your first year, and then you can figure it out too, and then making these folks available. The next piece that we'll add to the state call will be our media outreach, because it's great that we all have these great ideas and these great events, and we're actually going to make them happen, but it doesn't make any sense if we're not getting the word out to the average person who has no idea what Food Day is about. So having a media plan and getting people plugged in, this will be our second year where we're having a real active, I wouldn't say active, I would say a proactive take on a media committee. And all that is just different people who are interested in, writing a press release or engaging their local media. We have a social media piece that we've activated last year, and that we're reactivating. That's a Twitter account, a Facebook, blog, Pinterest, you name it, we got it. And getting people plugged into that. So giving people another outlet to get plugged in. So that's pretty much how we're going to set up our call. Just, help people get up to speed on what's up, give them a time frame to work from, give them some ideas and some examples of people who've done it, starting in different places with different scales, and give them sites about the media piece and question and answers, and just continue to support them and reach out to them with the monthly or the bi-monthly call and the bi-monthly email newsletter. That's pretty much it. Just keeping it simple, keeping them encouraged, and keeping them focused.
Thank you. Thanks for that. And, we have several organizers on the call who have been organizing for several years for Food Day, and one of them is Renee Turan from Savannah, Georgia. And I've been conspiring behind the scenes to get him to show you what he's been up to. So he's going to show us a few pictures and explain what he's up to in Georgia down there.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds good.
Great. You'll have to forgive me. I wasn't expecting to present anything today, so I'm just kind of getting a couple things ready here for you. I thought the first place that I might want to start was actually to reminisce and go back a bit to 2011, which was the first Food Day festival that we organized in conjunction with our local Food Policy Council. And so what I've got pulled up here is actually our festival guide from 2011. This was printed in the local magazine as well as available online for all attendees to kind of get an idea of what we had to offer that day. So as you can see, we chose to do it actually 2 days before Food Day. It was a weekend, so that worked out better for us. And then we had everything, you can see up here, we had quite a list of partners who were helping us put on this festival. And then one of the things that we always like to incorporate into all of our festivals is a hefty bit of entertainment. I really feel like you need to add as many carrots on the stick as you can to try to entice people to come out. So usually we try to incorporate entertainment not only for the adults, maybe in the form of musical entertainment, but also things for the kids to do. And then once they're there, they're able to partake in a lot of the educational components which take place in the workshops. So usually, I'm sorry, you had a question?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was mumbling. I apologize.
Oh. No problem. So usually what we like to do is you'll see that there's quite a few workshops here. We have them segregated into different categories: cooking classes, parent and family workshops. We also had gardening and sustainability type workshops. So typically what we do is we will partner up with a different organization or person who is really an expert in that particular area, and then negotiate with them to actually conduct the workshop on the day of. So it's really about sort of micromanaging and compartmentalizing all these different pieces and then trying to orchestrate them to happen all on the same day. Of course, none of this is really possible without the financial support of sponsors. So typically what we always do is we'll start by soliciting the media partners, local TV and print, and then once we have commitments from them in terms of the amount of exposure we can get, we can then guarantee that exposure to any additional sponsors who come in with financial contributions. Of course, we're always try to be very careful to only accept sponsorship from people who fit in line with the 5 priorities of Food Day. So you can see here we then took it a step up last year in 2012, basically building off the original blueprint and just adding to it. So more entertainment, more workshops, of course more sponsors. And then we decided to go in a lot more depth with the guide. This is printed in Well-Fed Magazine, which is a magazine that we own and operate here in Savannah. And for 2012, we were really happy to incorporate our local farmers market. So we had nearly all of the farmers from the Forsyth Farmers Market in attendance that day. And then we were able to also pair up with a local Virginia college, and they were the ones who conducted the workshops. And also these pictures that you see up here incorporated into the guide, these are actual pictures from the 2011 festival. So we're always really careful to get as much pictures and other media from each festival so that we can incorporate it into the next year's guide. So you can see there's quite a large map. It was one of these squares here is actually the exact size of a football field. So you can see it was a rather large event. And then it was also National Pit Bull Awareness Day. It happened to be the same day, and they had already booked their event to take place in the same park as us on the same day. So we just ended up folding their event into ours as well, and that really brought a considerable amount of extra people. So you know, I always recommend anytime you can sort of pair up your endeavors with somebody else's and share resources, it works out for everyone. We've got a couple other pictures. This was from the 2012 Food Day. And what was great was just trying to build these community partnerships, whether it was a local person who had the stage that we could borrow, a local person who could provide the sound. These were the workshops that were conducted underneath the tents. Cooking classes by Virginia College. And you can kind of see how we have the exhibitors and vendors just sort of laid out in a grid-like area. So pretty much for this year, it's the same bag of tricks. We take what we did last year and we expand upon it. So we just try to improve upon the quality of the workshops in terms of what's the topic, how are they conducted, and also what's the user experience in terms of do we have enough chairs, do we need a bigger tent, maybe we need a speaker for the workshop conductors, things of that nature. And of course, I would recommend anyone who is doing any kind of food day event to contact their local Whole Foods if you have one. I believe all across the nation they've been very helpful in sponsoring several food day events across the nation. And the Whole Foods here in Savannah definitely was a big help. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Renee. That's so helpful, and you've been such a huge help to our organizers across the country. And for those of you who are interested, we also had a media webinar that Renee helped to present on last year, and you can find that on our archived webinars page at foodday.org/webinars. So thank you again for showing us those pictures and for telling us about your annual event. Really good advice there, so thanks a lot. And we have a couple questions. I want to make sure we leave time for those. One of them for Demetrius, actually. Someone was asking about how you marketed the, or how you're planning to market the healthy tailgating, and what's been the response to that so far. Do you have any advice to that? You know, was it advertised? Will it be advertised as a healthy tailgate, or are you just sort of doing that locally on campuses?
They've just been doing it locally on campuses. I don't know if, well, they've just been doing it locally on campuses. What they did is they partnered with many student organizations. For instance, USM, you had the mayor's office, and there's local student organizations. I think the public health organizations, because the school, they have a school of public, well, not school, they have a public health program there. So they collaborate with the different student organizations, and then you have the communications department from the mayor's office who pushed that and did the marketing for the healthy tailgating. So they did their own PR the area in that area, so they didn't have to use additional money. They just leveraged the resources that they had, the different partners. So of course, when you send a a press release from the mayor's office, sometimes you know, you have media that may want to go ahead and tap into it and actually cover it. So that's how we promoted and marketed most of the healthy tailgating.
I see. Okay, thank you. And from Trudy Wimberly, who's in Chandler, Arizona, she wrote in about her event. It's called Eat Real, How Local Can You Grow? And they're planning a variety of activities to celebrate locally grown and locally owned food supply at farmers markets and in schools. And they're working with the local food bank, going to spotlight local community colleges with a hunger banquet and a SNAP challenge. I assume that's a SNAP enrollment challenge, or maybe a putting folks on a food stamp diet for a day. So that is a great example. And she also asked about the in Demetrius's presentation, the paper plates with food portions. Did you show the My Plate portions, or was that a different different resource?
It's My Plate. Just for the kids, they make it a little bit, it was like they use cartoons, so it may not look like it. They use cartoons to be a little more enticing to children. That's why the plates look different than the normal My Plates, because those are specifically for children.
I see. Okay, so I think that basic template is available. It's a USDA resource, and I think it's mypyramid.gov, where you can find information and resources for portions and eating from the food pyramid, and they've recently switched from a pyramid to a plate. So that's what you were seeing on the screen there, I think. Okay, well, we also have our Louisiana organizer on the call, Bonnie May, who's been doing work in Louisiana. And yeah, so maybe I'll turn it over to you, Bonnie, try to unmute you, and you can tell us a little bit about, you know, the partners you've been reaching out to, any developments, just let us know how things are going.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah, my name is Bonnie May. I'm the Louisiana Food Day Coordinator. And things have been going pretty well so far. Right now I'm working with the Sankofa Farmers Market. They're going to be organizing the first Food Day event on October 19th, and we're working on making that a really big event that will kick off the other Food Day events in New Orleans. So they're going to have a flavor challenge and a rethink your drink component where they have kids and young people enter into a contest to make different kinds of drinks, whether it's smoothies or teas or things like that, and they'll submit their ingredients to a panel and then get approved, and then use those ingredients to make samples for everyone, and people will get to go around and taste them. And they're also going to have a flavor challenge where they compare the taste of local produce to produce that's not local but the same thing, like tomatoes, for example. And they're also going to have a fitness component. They're calling it the Food and Fitness Fair, and they're going to have a fun run, which will probably about like a mile run, where you have the option to loop around a second time if you want to, or you can just do it once. But it's going to be an uncompetitive, kind of just like fun event where you're just like getting people out running and being outside. And so that's been going pretty well. There are bi-weekly planning meetings. So there are a lot of different partners for the Food and Fitness Fair at Sankofa. So there's going to be a lot of different organizations that are going to be tabling at that event to also tell people about the events they're going to be having later in the week too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, Bonnie's been doing great work down there and picking up all the pieces in New Orleans, getting people organized. So thank you. Thanks for joining in. All right, at this point, if anyone else has questions or comments, things they wanted to talk about on the call, you can go ahead and type them in the dashboard. As I mentioned, we've recorded this presentation, so if you missed parts of it or you want to pass it along to someone else, we'll send a link with the recording and the slides shortly after the webinar is over, and you can pass it along that way. We'll wait, a few more, about 30 more seconds to see if anyone has questions. But in the meanwhile, I just wanted to say thank you again to all of our panelists, Nancy Hunegarth from New York State, Rosa Ruda from Massachusetts, Demetrius Wicks from Mississippi, and Renee from Savannah, Georgia, as well as Bonnie May from Louisiana. And thanks to all of you for joining in, and let us know if you have questions. Email us at foodday@cstinet.org. And spread the word. Food Day is a couple months away, so we're really hoping to see a lot of activity posted on our national map at foodday.org. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll sign off now, and you'll get a follow-up email shortly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose.
Bye.